Welcome back to Rekt Radio, the only show on the planet that witnesses a market parabolic enough to give astronauts vertigo and calls it a good start. I'm Sunny, and folks, grab your sunglasses because the green candles are blinding today.
And I'm Cole. I'm here to remind you that staring directly at an explosion, no matter how brightly it burns, is a very good way to go blind. What you call green candles, I call the light from a rapidly approaching train. Let's not get run over.
There is no train, Cole. It's a rocket, and you're refusing to get on board. We have to start with the main event, the story that has every screen in the world glowing. Bitcoin. $120,000. It's here. We're breathing air that's never been breathed before.
We're breathing the thin air at the top of a mountain just before the avalanche hits. A big, round, psychologically significant number like that isn't a milestone, Sonny. It's a billboard that says, last exit before the cliff. This is the definition of a blow-off top. The mania has officially reached its zenith.
This isn't mania. This is validation on a historic scale. You can't just dismiss a 50% price surge in a few months as mania. We're talking about a fundamental repricing of the asset, driven by two unstoppable forces. First, the institutions. The real money, the smart money, is finally here in force.
Oh, the smart money? You mean the herd of beautifully tailored suits who are famous for stampeding into an asset class right at the peak of its hype cycle. Institutions aren't smart, Sonny. They're just slow. They're the final buyers, the ones who provide the exit liquidity for everyone who got in early. Their arrival isn't the start of a new era, it's the ringing of the bell at the top of the market.
But Cole, you're missing the point. This isn't like their usual trend following. They're not just buying Bitcoin, they are changing their entire framework to accommodate it. They see the long-term value. This provides a massive, stable floor for the price. Every time you see a dip, it's not panic, it's a pension fund rebalancing its portfolio. That's a paradigm shift. This isn't the retail-driven frenzy of past cycles. This is the bedrock on which the future will be built.
It's a bedrock made of sand. These institutions have no loyalty to the asset. They are mercenaries. The moment the trend inflects, the moment their risk models flash red, they will dump their holdings with a speed and volume that will make your head spin. They will be the catalyst for the crash, not the saviors. They're just adding a bigger, more systemic layer of volatility to an already chaotic market. They're not building a floor, they're building a trapdoor.
You see a trapdoor? I see a launch pad, and it's being fueled by the second, even more powerful force, the United States government. We are finally seeing the passage of comprehensive pro-crypto legislation. This is the moment we've been fighting for a decade.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought this up. The moment the government clarifies things is the moment you lose. Let me guess what this pro-crypto legislation entails. Does it make it easier for them to track, trace, and tax every single transaction? Does it create a regulatory moat so thick that only the giant incumbent players like BlackRock and their friends can afford to operate, effectively killing any chance for a decentralized startup to compete?
It's about legitimacy. It provides regulatory clarity, which de-risks the entire asset class for the next wave of investors and builders. It removes the single biggest obstacle that has been holding back mainstream adoption: uncertainty. Companies can now operate with the fear of some regulator changing their mind overnight. This isn't the government putting its hooks in, it's the government laying down a red carpet and saying the United States is open for innovation. This is what unlocks the trillions of dollars that have been sitting on the sidelines.
That's not a red carpet. It's a leash, and a short one at that. Regulatory clarity is just a euphemism for control. They've seen this thing get too big to ignore, and now they're bringing it inside the fence where they can tame it. They're stripping away the very essence of what made crypto revolutionary: its sovereignty, its privacy, its permissionless nature, and turning it into a sanitized, surveilled, and neutered version of itself. It's the death of the cypherpunk dream, and you're celebrating it as a victory. You've been so desperate for validation from the mainstream that you've welcomed the Trojan horse right through the gates.
It's called growing up, Cole. An industry can't stay in the Wild West forever if it wants to change the world. You need rules of the road. And the market is telling us in no uncertain terms that this is the right move. But I know what you're waiting for. Let's pull up the chart. Let's see what the data says on TradingView.
Please, Sonny. After a run like this, I can't wait to see what sort of tea leaf reading you're about to perform. What are the magic lines telling you today?
They're telling a story of pure, unadulterated power. The summary for the one-day chart is a screaming, strong buy. Not a buy, not a neutral, a strong buy. And look at the component that matters most for the big picture, the moving averages. That indicator is also flashing strong buy. That's the deep current of the ocean, Cole. It's the powerful underlying trend, and it's telling us that despite the historic price, the momentum is still overwhelmingly positive.
You're staring at the rearview mirror while driving at 120 miles per hour. The moving averages just tell you that the price was a lot lower before. It's a lagging indicator. Let's look at the dashboard, at what's happening right now. The oscillators, the tools that measure real-time momentum and warn you when an asset is overbought, they are flashing a hard sell. A sell, Sonny.
And I couldn't be more thrilled. That is the single most bullish signal you can get in a powerful uptrend. A strong buy on the underlying trend with a sell on the short-term oscillators, that's called a bull flag. It's the market taking a tiny, healthy pause to consolidate its gains before the next explosive move higher. It's shaking out the tourists and the leverage traders before launching the next rocket. You're pointing out the single best buying opportunity on the chart.
That is a level of cognitive dissonance that is almost impressive. What you have is a massive divergence. The trend is telling you where we've been, but the momentum is telling you we've run out of gas. The buyers are exhausted. The engine is sputtering. That isn't a healthy pause, Sonny. That is the final gasp before the market rolls over. The strong buy is luring in the last of the optimists, while the sell signal is screaming that the smart money is already heading for the exits. It's not a flag, it's a trap.
That's all for this episode of Rekt Radio. I'm looking at a market that has finally been validated by both Wall Street and Washington with a chart that's simply recharging for a run at $150,000. Don't miss the opportunity of a lifetime.
And I'm looking at a textbook mania top, enabled by fair weather friends and a government tightening its grip. Be careful out there. Don't be the one left holding the bag. You've been listening to Rekt Radio.